Hello and welcome to today's interview. It's a pleasure to have with us Ray Infante and Paula Garcia De Niro of the National Pilates Certification Program, NPCP. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you, Luis, for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Okay, to start off, could you briefly introduce the NPCP credentials and why they are important for the Pilates profession?
The two credentials we currently offer is the NCPT, the Nationally Certified Pilates Teacher. This is for comprehensively trained Pilates teachers, and we've had this one available for years. And last year, we launched the NPCP PMC, Pilates Mat Certified Credential. These are specific, this one is specific to mat teachers. Why they're important to the Pilates profession? I would say the key is standard setting. So we set a standard, and if somebody meets that standard, then they can say that they are competent to teach A, safely, and B, based on current practice. And the latter is very important, on current practice. Many supporters in the past have referred to our credential as a gold credential, or well, our program is neither gold or silver. We are a standard. We set a standard by which we can say, if you meet this standard, you're competent. Now, I have had people in the past ask me, why should I take your program? Why should I should take your exam if I've just completed this program? And in some cases, the educators are large schools, international schools. In some cases, our mentors that have been teaching for 40 years. They have standards as well. So these standards are usually based, whether it be the school or a mentor, on whatever they teach the student. At the end, these are tested. And if they pass and provide evidence that they understand the material that was presented, then that is the standard. And as you can imagine, each program has a different standard based on the length and the content. So these are subjective standards. We go back to how we develop our standards. And the most important thing to keep in mind is safety and current practice, based on current practice. We rely on subject matter experts. Subject matter experts, as defined by the NPCP, are certified individuals who have 5 years of experience. So whenever we're going to launch new certification exam or update one, we call out for subject matter expert participation, volunteers. The last time we had a call out, we had about 130 people volunteer. And these individuals are then put into committees to serve on certain developmental steps of the exam. And these steps are specific. They are led by a psychometrician. And they start with the identification of what exactly is a Pilates teacher from scratch. So the psychometrician is there because his expertise or her expertise is such that they can lead the conversation to a place where you come to identifying certain skills and tasks. And these are broken down, and they become the subject matter of a potential exam. Once this committee work, which might take 1 or 2 days, is complete, then they move on to setting this content area out to a larger population, in our case, the 5,000 people we have certified, to say, are these tasks valid? Are these competencies valid? That based on, so that it's not just this committee coming up with the most foundational element of the exam, which is what a Pilates teacher does, but rather a larger group. From there, once you have the content for a potential exam, then you move on to another committee, which identifies, or I should say develop items or questions for the exams. And then there's a question item review, and then there's an exam development, which and there's an exam review. The last step of all of these steps for the exam development, interestingly enough, is called the standard setting or the passing point determination. So at the passing point, let's say it's 100 questions, which by the way it is on the comprehensive, and 80 is the passing score. If it's 80 or 81, then you pass. You have met the standard. If it's 79 or less, then you did not. So as you can imagine, this particular meeting, this standard setting meeting is highly scrutinized. And again, those are reviewed. And an exam is crafted based on the review. That exam is put out, and the first 150 people to take that exam do not get the results for a month or two while the psychometricians run a series of processes to determine how the questions behaved. This is to the degree that this is scrutinized. Because we don't have a curriculum, because we don't have something to meet, we have to make sure that whoever takes this exam, no matter what school they come from or what mentor they mentored with, they're able to sit the exam and content is valid. At the end, once we have it, this becomes an objective measure. So we have the subjective measures, which are the educators, and then we had our objective measure of competency, which includes all of that by virtue of subject matter experts. So the easy answer to the question of why is it important to the Pilates profession, it offers an objective measure of competency that identifies safe teaching and that is current.
Right. All right. I think it's quite a clear explanation of what it's all about. It seems to me that it's like a very deep way of making sure people know what they're doing if they're taking other people's health and limbs in their hands. And all right, so that explains that part. But also, continuing education credits are a significant part of any professional development. Could you explain how they fit into the NPCP certification program?
Okay, I'll borrow a little bit from what we were talking about just now in terms of standard setting. If you recall, we talked about safety and current practice. So what is the current practice means current 5 minutes later is not current and 10 minutes later. So what is current? Two things occur with the certification program. Certification programs are time limited. In fact, it's not just certification program. Certification program, licenses, and registrations. Whether you're a registered nurse, if you're a licensed psychotherapist, you renew your license, you renew your registration, and certifications are renewed. They're time limited. The certification exam is time limited. So the certification exam is the instrument by which we determine if somebody's competent or not. And that instrument, if it declares that a person is teaching safely based on current practice, needs to be current. So we must redo the exam every 6 years, which is done. We start from scratch. Job task analysis, blank page, new group of subject matter experts, item writing, item review, exam and development, exam review, etc. All that happens every 6 years. So this is a moving measure. Right? Now, a Pilates teacher that has this credential that says to the public, this person, this individual, this teacher is competent to teach safely and based on current practice. If they took the exam, the old exam or whatever the old exam is, then that was the measure. We have determined that 2 years and by the way, it's pretty consistent with fitness. Every 2 years, a person must renew their certification. There's two ways a person can renew their certification. One is to take the newest exam, because that is the latest instrument, which might be a new exam or it might be the same exam. But if it is the same exam, it's still current practice based on that life cycle. The more popular way people can renew their certifications by virtue of continuing educations, where the continuing education element fits in. Basically, if you take, whether it be Pilates specific continuing education or anatomy or any sort of movement therapy, anything we allow within the scope of practice and Pilates teacher, you're engaging in current practice. So the ultimate, at the end, it's similar to taking the exam again, in that you're maintaining current practice.
Okay, so you need a certain amount of CECs in order to maintain your certification active, let's say.
Correct.
Wow. Right. Is there a specific number that are needed, or is it the same for everyone?
It is both the same.
Well, it is 16 CCs for the comprehensively trained teachers and 8 for the math certification.
All right. Thank you. All right. All right. Okay. Then why is it? This question may be a little redundant, but why is it to a teacher's benefit to take the NPCP approved CECs rather than just continue developing their own skills?
Well, I am going to answer that question based on what I do on a daily basis to review continuing education applications that are submitted by providers. Number one, the content must align with the scope of practice of a Pilates teacher. So it is important to know that we accept Pilates content workshops and complementary content courses as well. So these ones include anatomy, movement modalities, biomechanics, business, etc. It's not just circumscribed to the Pilates content. Number two, I determine if the subject matter enhances the individual's practice and professional growth. This supports the notion of current practice that Ray referenced before. If a live course is submitted, I look at the written information presented, the workshop outline, workshop objectives, if there's a bibliography. And in the case of the distance learning applications, aside from all that information, I also watch the pre-recorded videos or the manuals that may be submitted. So this review includes also the quality of presentation, the accuracy of the content, clarity of the concepts presented. So to go back to your question about the benefit of opting for MPCP approved CECs, is that these courses have gone through a thorough review process.
Okay. Okay. Could you give us some examples of the types of courses that are NPCP approved and how they directly benefit Pilates professionals? I know you mentioned something interesting a little earlier about b- business, and that there's several aspects of the CECs. Can you just clear that up a little bit?
Sure. Aside from the Pilates specific workshops and trainings from presenters from all over the world, our list of approved workshops include allied modalities. So you can find anatomy, neuroanatomy workshops, fascia related work, other advanced teaching techniques, or specialty courses for like working with special populations, seniors, pre-postnatal clients, etc., and business as well. So this offers a vast array of options for everyone, regardless of their professional level and training. And we are very proud to say that that list of approved workshops keeps growing.
Okay. Oh, I understand now. Okay, well, given the global nature of Pilates, how does NPCP address the community to create a unified global standard? Ray?
Well, the exam is offered globally. The processes used in the development of the exam that we discussed earlier include subject matter experts, and especially after 2021 is very inclusive, not only in regions, lineages, particular schools. It also includes other countries and languages as well as cultures. And many internationals know that the NPCP credential is accredited in the United States. And the whole idea of the objectivity of the credential, doesn't really, it's not specific to the US. So in that regard, we serve the global community.
All right. So you are a U.S. based certification organization, but you serve the but anyway your certification is recognized. Let's say a teacher in France or in Tunisia or in Rome would gain from the prestige of having an NPCP certification, if I understood you correctly.
I think a clear way to say it is, we offer these standards. Like you say, we are a U.S. based certification program, so it's only through the adoption by internationals that we can provide a standard for the global community. But the inherent objectivity of the credential and the fact that it's accredited has been adopted by many internationals. You drew to help. What is it?
It helps. In other words, it's a standard, and we know standards let you know what the skill level or the efficiency level of something is, and that's okay. Do you have any examples of how the NPCP can help CEC providers gain more recognition or opportunities?
Uh, yes,
Paula, please. Thank you.
thank you. I would like to add that we have a lot of international continuing education credit workshops approved in our directory, which serve the local or this global community. Additionally, the post-COVID reality with its movement toward this virtual continuing education expansion has strengthened the ties among Pilates teachers everywhere because now there's more communication and there's more knowledge about and there's uh, closeness to one another because of this more virtual world that we're living. And circling back to your question about uh, some how these CC providers can gain more recognition or opportunities, um, we have to remember that we have a certified audience that must renew their credential, and they are looking for NPCP approved courses. So the acceptance of all these 16 CCs coming from distance learning, which is asynchronous learning, or live streamed events, offers providers from all over the world the opportunity to share their knowledge and expertise to this audience.
Okay, so that is the message you would share with instructors and studio owners that it's worth investing in NPCP approved courses for their professional growth and growth of Pilates worldwide. That's what I seem to understand from your message.
Yes, definitely. Continuing education is a commitment to professional development, both for providers and Pilates professionals. There's always somebody eager to teach and somebody willing to learn.
Thank you, Paula and Ray, for sharing your insights. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add or share with our audience? Ray or Paula, either one of you. It's been very interesting.
Well, the 2 points that come to my mind that I'd like to emphasize is we did launch the MAT credential last year. I just want to speak to that again, because Matt can go to schools, can go to community centers, can go to places where you can't take equipment. And this credential recognizes the competencies of those people that choose to just teach math, or are at that place at this moment in their professional development. Also, going back to the whole global nature of Pilates, there are places in international sphere and even within the U.S. where that is all it is. So we've opened that door a little bit, so it's not so close to just comprehensive. The other thing I want to bring up is project that we have and become more developed as this coming year. Actually, we're working on a school directory. We get a lot of people asking for schools, and they want to know where to find schools that offer the programs that are eligible for our certification, whether it be the MAC or the comprehensive or both. And this is, this will live on our website, and it's good for people that are looking for schools. It's also good for schools to offer their name to the audience. So it's a way to bring educators and the credentialing organization, the certification program, closer. So there are programs like, discounts on study materials the schools can purchase. And in fact, they can purchase discounts for the exam. So it's the other piece that we're kind of excited about.
All right. Thank you. Paula, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I would like to add that in terms of community outreach, this year we are attending Pilates in the Caribbean and Pilates on Tour in Denver. Um, we this is an opportunity for you not only to meet us and clear your doubts regarding certification, regarding continuing education, but also you are going to be able to get all your 16 required CECs while networking with other Pilates professionals. So it's going to be great.
All right. Thank you very much, both of you. Thank you for taking the time. And you're on the Pilates in the Caribbean channel. And there will also be, as a matter of fact, 16 CECs available at our event in February. And the board will be meeting there. And again, our participants also can have the opportunity possibly to meet and chat with you and ask any questions that may have come up, but we didn't have time to answer.
Definitely.
We're very much looking forward to it.
Okay, Paula, Ray, thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Okay, and once again, long live Pilates, I believe, is what I often read at the bottom of my my letters. I've lost the word, but this is going to be cut out anyway. Thank you. All right. So okay, we're